outreach where we share about ourselves, about our religious belief system, about our identity, and tell them, guys, we are human beings like you. We have got a mission, and that mission is, as when the Sahabi was said, as you know, when Rasulullah sent the messenger to the king of Persia, and the king of Persia asked him, what have you brought? What do you want? He said that our mission is to bring the people from the worship of human beings to the worship of the Lord of humanity. يخرج الناس من عبادة العباد إلى عبادة رب العباد. This is our mission. Our mission is not to control people. Our mission is not to usurp the authority or to destroy a country or a nation or a people. We are there to save people. Our deen teaches us that a prostitute that saved the life of a cat or a dog was blessed by Jannah. A prostitute, a person whose moral or ethical level can be determined from the profession. But just because saving the life of a dog was sufficient to bring the blessings of Allah in eternal salvation. So Islam is not there basically to violate human rights, to destroy humanity, or basically to hate anybody. Dawah ilallah, is the source of that is the love of that person, to save that person from going to the wrong ways or from going to the eternal condemnation, which is Jahannam or fire. So therefore, it is important for us not to give in to these type of labeling, and not to give in to this kind of understanding of Dawah ilallah. Now, basically, if you look into the Quran, you will find that perhaps in almost every page, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting us. Wake up, do your duty. You are not here to live this life for no reason, for no basics of basically akhirah or eternity. You are here for your eternity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallam keeps on telling us, you are ashabul risala. You are the people of a mission. What is your mission? Your mission is to bring people back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is your mission. Your mission here is not just to live this life the way everybody else is living. You are ashabul risala. You are a people of mission. And remember, the Prophet ﷺ, he was so conscious of his responsibility that in spite of doing everything which was possible from the human perspective, he always felt perhaps it is not enough. You know, all of us, we know the history, and we have just talked about Sirah, how the Prophet ﷺ will walk out to the street, to the basically tribes, to everybody, making sure that they understand the message, how much he suffered. But this is something that you don't give up, because your salary is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah ashtara min al-mu'minina anfusahum wa amwalahum bi anna lahumul jannah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a deal with you. He has given you Jannah, and He has bought your life. You are totally His. When you say La ilaha illallah, that there is no master, there is no creator, there is no authority, there is no ilah except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have signed the contract that I am yours. You are fully paid, divinely paid, salaried, full-time person. And what is the salary? Your Jannah. And Jannah is not something easy. Arduha samawatu wal ard. The width of that is what equal to heavens and the earth. The value of that. The price of Jannah cannot be offered even if you own the earth and the heavens. So now, our responsibility is like these salesperson. Like somebody is working for IBM, somebody is working for GE. MashaAllah, they shave twice a day, put on the nice tie, the best of the terminology, the best of the diplomatic way. You know, if somebody does not basically buy the product one way, they will come with different way, with different so many ways. That's where phone calls, emails, because they have to sell the product to get the salary. If this is the situation with human beings, I mean, our responsibility is million and zillion times more. So therefore, there's no way to get tired, exhausted, frustrated. And that's what you look from the life of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That the Prophet ﷺ would use any excuse to convey his message to the best of his ability. The famous incident in which, Rasulullah ﷺ goes to Abu Jahl, invites him all the time, and Abu Jahl got so upset with him. He said, La araka ba'd al-yawm hadha. I don't want to see your face after this day. It's a very bad way, basically very rude way to tell somebody that I don't want to see your face after this day. La arak ba'd al-yawm. So the Prophet ﷺ thinks what to do. I still have to convey the message to him. So it's dark night, it's raining, and when it rains in Mecca, all the mashallah worms and all the insects and everything comes out. Nobody's moving around. Somebody knocks at the door of Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl thinks that, this is dark night and this is very dangerous night. If somebody is coming to my house at this time, must be real needy. So what he says to his wife, he says, something real brings this person to my door, and I swear to my God that I will give him what he's asking. So the Prophet ﷺ becomes very happy that now he has taken the qasam. He will respond to me. He has to respond to me. He opens the door, he says, who? It's Muhammad ﷺ. He gets upset. He said, didn't I tell you that don't come to me after this day? He said, you said don't come to me after the day, and I came in the night. I'm looking at the excuse. I'm looking at how much worry and how much concern he had. Because as the Prophet ﷺ said to Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, Ya Ali, لِأَنْ يَهْدِي بِكَ اللَّهُ رَجُلًا وَاحِدًا خَيْرٌ لَكَ مَا بَيْنَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you the source of guidance of one person, that is better than the heavens and the earth and whatever they contain. Imagine if because of you, one person gets introduced to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, starts worshipping him, or one person is saved from the hellfire. That person is going to be for eternity. The reward of that person is sufficient for you to buy what is in the heaven and the earth. Actually, in other hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, خَيْرٌ لَكَ, actually, لِأَنْ يَهْدِي بِكَ اللَّهُ رَجُلًا وَاحِدًا خَيْرٌ مِنْ حُمَرِ النِّعَمِ. The best of the bounties you can think. And actually, the Mercedes of that time were called Humar al-Nahr, the best of those, camels. So basically, what is basically at stake is the life of somebody. Because remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, basically, He is the Lord of the universe. If, as the hadith says, actually, hadith Qudsi says, O mankind, if all of you decide to worship me for entirety of their life, that they do not miss out on worship even for a second in their life, this will not benefit an iota in my authority. It will not increase an iota in my power, authority, or divinity. And if the entire humanity decides to disrespect me, not to worship me, not believe in me, and they do not stop cursing, astaghfirullah, even 1 second of their life, that will not decrease an iota from my authority, power, and divinity. Antumul fuqara'u ilallah, wallahu huwal ghaniyyul hamid. You are the one who depend upon him. You are the one who need him. He does not need anything. So therefore, it's not only from the perspective of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is from the perspective of humanity, saving human beings. It is just like when you look at the building and somebody is burning, you will not leave that person until you call 911, you get the buckets, you throw the water, you do whatever you can to save somebody. How could you leave your neighbor, your friend, your colleague, your son or daughter, and see them doing immoral things, unethical things, the things which are not permitted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is from the human perspective. So dawah and outreach is not meant, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for His benefit. It is the benefit of humanity. جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. We have made you this ummah wasata, so that you become what? Witness upon people. That Rasulullah sallam, you are a witness upon them, and they become a witness upon humanity. This is our responsibility, that after the death of Rasulullah sallam, it is our responsibility to take the message of morality, nice, peace, joy, whatever you call is the essence of Islam, calling people towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that they can submit their will to the moral will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stop killing, cheating, wasting time, basically all of those things, and there is peace and tranquility within families, within themselves, and in the society at large. This is our mission. And that's what, when you get engaged in this one, as we are told that this is the mission of the prophets, you are part of that mission. And don't forget that even Prophet ﷺ, when he is given the news that, Ya Rasulullah, your time is up, you are coming back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what happened in Hajjat al-Wida. As the Prophet ﷺ stood, he said, I am a human being like you. The call is going to come and I will have to respond. Which means that he was aware now that, and he says, I may not be there next year with you. And that's when he gave the last khutbah. And what he said, Ala hal ballagt, he kept on asking, before going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he kept on asking his sahaba, oh my sahaba, did I convey you the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not? And everybody kept on saying, Ala ballagt, ya Rasulullah, you conveyed it. And the Prophet ﷺ was not only confining to this one, he kept on saying, Allahumma fashad, Allahumma fashad, Allahumma fashad. Ya Allah, be my witness, Ya Allah, be my witness. Everybody saying, I conveyed your message to you. And then the Prophet ﷺ left us with the responsibility, فَلْيُبَلِّغْ الشَّاهِدْ مِنْكُمُ الْغَائِبِ. So now I'm leaving you with the responsibility that those who are present now, they should convey the message to those who are absent. This is the responsibility. Now people are talking bad about the Quran, about Islam, about Prophet ﷺ, and about you and me. Believe me, if we do not clarify those stereotypes, if we do not clear their minds, believe me, we will be the first one to pay the price. Because Islam and Prophet ﷺ or the Quran, this is the product of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's going to what? Protect it. But the first thing will start with us. Nobody will protect us. If people do not respect for what we say, believe, or stand for, if people do not honor Islam, basically they are going to what? Look at us as the enemies. So when we do not do the proper work of dawah and clarify to them what Islam stands for, what we stand for, what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam stands for, the price is going to be paid with our properties, with our children, and this is actually the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because why Muslims will go away from dawah? Because they don't have the time, they are busy with their jobs, they want to protect their money, they want to save their face, they don't want to come out of their hiding, All of this is done for the sake of personal security, for the sake of property security, but then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make us lose those things for which we stopped ourselves from the work of dawah. Dawah is not meant only for the non-Muslims. It is meant for the Muslims. It is meant for me. It's meant for my children, my family. So there are different levels of dawah. You can't just make it only to the non-Muslims. As the Quran says, you cannot just advise the other people and forget about yourself. So it has to has on different level. To my family, to my children, to my brothers and sisters, to my community at large, because Christian, Jews, Hindus, everybody is our brother and sister. They are part of human family. As we love our family, we love them and we invite them towards morality and goodness for the sake of their love, not for the sake of their hatred.